Hey, hi guys, this is Bakkappa. Welcome back to Selenium C Sharp.net in Unit tutorials. Let us jump to the high level agenda for the today's Selenium C Sharp tutorial. First, we'll discuss what is author attribute, then we'll discuss description attribute, then we'll discuss test case source attribute so that how you can do data driven testing. Then after that, we will create a sample Selenium C Sharp automation script, and I'll demonstrate how you can use author attribute, description attribute, and test case source attribute. And we'll discuss exception handling. Say for example, we have a big test script. Within that middle of the test script, it is getting failed. How you can handle those kind of situations. Then we'll discuss how to capture screenshot in case a particular test script is getting failed. How you can capture the screenshot so you can find out the error very easily. So let us jump to the Visual Studio. So I will create a fresh class here. So here I'm giving the class name as Selenium C Sharp Tutorial-04. That's it. Click on Add button. First I need to represent this class as a test fixature. So first we need to import the NUnit framework. So what I will do is I'll write using statement, then NUnit dot framework. That's it. So here I'll write the attribute as a test fixature for this particular class. That's it. Then we'll write a simple test method. Public void test1. That's it. What we'll do is simply I will navigate to the, I'll open this particular browser in a Chrome browser. Then I will go to the facebook.com and you will inspect this particular text box, email text box. Then you'll enter something over here in this particular text box. Then we'll close the web browser. That's all. So we have already code written for opening the browser and identifying this particular element. So I'll copy the same code, go to the base class here. So this is a code what we have written in the previous Selenium C Sharp sessions. Simply I will copy that particular code. That's it. Just import related packages here for the Chrome driver. For the Chrome driver and WebDriver. That's it. So if you don't know how to import, just click on that and press Control dot from the keyboard. So you will get import options. So first one line it will launches the Chrome browser, then it maximizes the Chrome browser, then it will enter this particular URL into the browser here. That's it. Now the next part is we need to identify this particular element, text box. So for this we have already code. I'll go to the order skip attributes. So this is a 2 lines of code we have. I'll paste it here. So we have identified this particular text box by using that XPath. So if you take this particular XPath, try to inspect this particular text box, just press Ctrl F from the keyboard, then you will get this particular box. You paste this particular XPath, so it is perfectly identifying that particular text box, email text box. So it is matching one of one element. That's it. So it is we are using send keys so that we can enter this particular Selenium C# into the this particular email text field. Then I will close the web browser. I will use the quit so that it will close all the driver instances. That's it. So let us clean this particular solution. Then we will rebuild the solution so that it will delete all the conflicts. So here you can see many attributes and all. So what I will do is I will give a filter by, now it is by traits. Now I will give a filter by class. So we have just created one single class called Selenium C# Tutorial-04. So if we go under that, you can see only one method called test1, what we have created just now. So I will run that particular method. It is launching the web browser and it is entering that particular URL, and then it is entering that text and it is closing the web browser. Let us discuss one by one now. So first we'll discuss author attribute, then description attribute, then test case source attribute. For the author attribute, basically this particular author attribute will be using to identify, say for example, in a team, in a big team, if you want to identify like how many test cases has written by that particular person. In that case, you can use this particular attribute and you can specify in the person name and the email ID. So what you need to do is you can specify in the same attribute in the test only, or you can write a different attribute and down of the test attribute. So what I will do is I'll write the author attribute, author, then followed by it accepts the arguments. If you look at the author, so it is accepting the string type of parameters. Here I'll say simply I'll specify my name itself, Bakkappa. Then I'll specify the email ID, bakkappac@gmail.com. That's it. So if you specify this particular attribute, author attribute, so it will show you separately over here, like this person how many test cases has written. So that count you can get it very easily if you specify this particular author attribute. So just I'll clean this particular solution, then I will rebuild the solution. So now you are not able to see this author attribute over here. So what you do is go to this filter and you can do it traits. So if you come over here, you can see this person has written. At the end it will show you how many test cases are there under this particular author. So as of now we have mentioned only single test case, it is showing you one. So if I copy this particular test So I'll give the test method name as 2. That's it. So if I rebuild this particular solution, now it should be 2. So if you see, the count of this particular author is 2. I have written 2 test scripts. So in the same way, in the particular project, you can identify the number of test cases has written by this particular author, name as Bakkappa. Now that's all. For running of these scripts, you can by select this author. If you want to run all the test scripts which is written by Bakkappa, so just click on that author attribute and select run selected test, so that it will run only that all the test scripts which is written by Bakkappa. So first test case got executed, and second test is getting executed now. That's it, very simple. So this is how you can use author attribute. In the same way, you can specify the description attribute. So this is nothing but you are specifying the description for the test cases. I mean the Selenium C# automation script. So I'll specify Facebook. Description for this particular test one is I'm specifying like Facebook login verify. That's it. In the same way, I'll copy this particular description attribute to the second test as well. That's it. I'll rebuild this particular solution so it can impact over the all over the project. So if you look at here, this is a particular description attribute. What I have specified the description, Facebook login verify. So in right now situation, we have only test 1 and test 2 belong to the Facebook verify login. So if you can specify the description for each of the test scripts, and you can run only those test scripts based on the description. So you can run this only description which you have specified, only those test scripts by right clicking on that particular attribute, and you can run all the related test scripts. Yes, it is getting executed all the test scripts under the Facebook login verified description. So we just now we have discussed author attribute and description attribute. Now we will discuss test case source attribute. Just I will comment this particular method test 2. Just press Ctrl K, then Ctrl C. So that will comment all the selected lines. So I'll define one simple static method here down, so that I can demonstrate you how to use a test case source attribute. Here I'm defining one static method, static IList. Here I'm specifying the name of the method as DataDriven Testing. That's it. What I will do is here I will create an object of the ArrayList. List by using the new operator. That's it. Just you need to import related packages. just press control dot. So it is asking you to import the system.collections. Just click on that particular statement. That's all. We need to return the array object because I have specified the IList as an interface. So return type of this particular method will be ArrayList type. Just I'll copy the reference variable and I'll use the return statement. That's it. So this is the collection I have ArrayList. So I will add the couple of URLs so that instead of specifying this particular URL, I'll specify it in this ArrayList. So what I'm doing here is every time I'm opening the browser and it is entering the different URL. So basically test case source attribute will be using for data driven testing. So every time a test case remains same, but the data which we are passing into that particular test will be different. So that how I am demonstrating is by passing the different URLs. In your case, you can write your script, you can pass the data into the web elements and try it out and let me know if you find any difficulties in doing that. So I will use the reference variable of ArrayList. I'll use the add method. So just I'm adding to the ArrayList URLs. So first I will add the facebook.com. That's it. Then next time I will add youtube.com. And I'll add one more string as gmail.com. That's it. So this is my data driven testing which provides us the sets of test data to this particular method. So how you can specify this method name is, it is very simple. So this particular, whenever we are using the test case, whenever we are using the test case source attribute, we need to specify this particular method name so that every time it returns the one set of test data to the particular test. So let me define test case source attribute. Under that you need to specify the method name. So this is already inbuilt keyword, that is a test case source attribute. It accepts the string type. If you look at here, it is accepting the string type of argument. So simply I will copy this particular method which returns the set of values. So I'll copy this particular method name and I'll paste it under the test case source method attribute, I mean. That's it. So we have a method called data driven testing. It returns us the set of values that is from the array list. That's it. So one more change you need to do. We are getting one type of data, that is a type of string, right? So that's the reason you need to specify the string as an argument for this test1 method. So that is, we have URL names. URL name I'll be specifying it. That's it. I'll comment this particular line because I'm getting the URLs from this particular data driven method. So here I'll specify the URL name as parameter to the URL. That's it. Actually what happens is, basically it will runs, let me comment these two lines because in case of Facebook it will be getting executed, but In case of youtube.com, it won't find this particular XPath, that is we have written it for the email field, text field. So that's the reason I will comment these two lines. Just press Ctrl K and Ctrl C, so it will comment selected lines. So first time what it does is, first time it will run this particular test1 method and it will pass the facebook.com, and the second time it will run this particular test1 method and it will pass the youtube.com, and third time it will run this particular test, then it will pass the gmail.com. So basically here it accepts the URL name from the data driven testing method. So it will pass this particular data driven testing method, it will pass one set of test data for each of the iterations. So let us clean and rebuild this particular solution. That's it. What I will do is I will filter it as by class. So we have created classes Selenium C# Tutorial-04. So let me run this particular class. So I'll say run selected test. So first time it is launched the web browser and it entered the facebook.com. Then second time it is launching the web browser. Then it has entered the youtube.com. Then third time it should enter the gmail.com. In the same way you can do it for the web elements. You can pass the values into the web elements and you can check it at your end. If you find any difficulties, you can comment in the comment section of this below video. So just till now we have discussed author attribute, description attribute and test case source attribute. We have written a simple Selenium C# automation script and we have demonstrated how you can use those attributes. And let us discuss how to define exception handling within a Selenium C# automation script. So what I will do is just I'll comment these two lines. Control key and Control C. Just I have commented these two lines. So and I'll uncomment these two lines because so if I run the script with the facebook.com, my script will be working fine. Control key and Control U, so that will uncomment the selected lines. That's it. So now the part is how you can write try, catch block and finally block, so that if any error occurred in the try block, so that can be captured, and you can, if in case a particular script is getting failed, you can add the code for the capturing the screenshot. So how you can achieve this exception handling is, what I will do is I will write a try catch block. This is my code. So if you press just try and just press one type tab, so it will create automatically all these lines. This is the shortcut we have in the Visual Studio. What I will do is I'll put all this code under the try block. In the, say for example, if any error occurred in the try block, so simply it will comes to the catch block and it will print all the errors. So here I'm writing console dot right line. So I'll specify the reference for the exception as a E. So by using the reference E dot, I'll print the stack trace information, so that if any error occurred in the try block, so it will comes to the catch block and it will print the all the information in the screen. That's it. And I'll write one more block called finally. So after running, irrespective of this particular try block and catch block executed, say for example in the try block, if any error occurred, this only that time only this particular catch block will be getting executed. So in the finally block, if error occurred in the try block or error not occurred in the try block, irrespective of the try block execution, this finally block will be getting executed. So catch block will be executed only when any error occurred in the try block. That finally block, it will execute after executing this try block or try catch blocks. Here I'm writing one statement called if driver. I'll specify the driver as like globally, and I'll assign the driver to the null. That's it. What I'll say is driver is not equal to null, then simply I'm closing the driver object. This particular block will be executed when, like say for example, we have launched the web browser and we have maximized it and we have entered this particular URL. In some cases it is not able to identify this particular email text box. It comes to the catch block. It will print all the error information. Then still that time particular driver object is not got closed. So in that time this particular statement got not executed because it is error occurred at this particular line number 29 itself. So that particular object is not closed. So it will come to the catch block. So after executing this particular statement, it will come to the finally block. It will check that particular driver object is opened or it is closed. If it is not closed, simply it will enter into this particular if statement and it will close the driver object. This is very simple. Let us clean and rebuild this particular solution. So basically these try catch block and finally block will be used in all the real-time projects to handle all the exceptions at runtime. Let me rebuild the solution. So we have a filter by the class. So that's the reason I can see only one test under the Selenium C Tutorial-04. If I executed this particular test, it will get executed properly because there are no errors as of now. That's it. Let me copy this particular line. Just I'll comment this particular line. I'll come here. I'll paste it. So I'll make little changes in this element identification email. I will write some ABCD, some value. So this time this particular element will be not finding here in the web page, because this web page is having id is equal to email as a value, but here I'm specifying id is equal to abcd as a value. So it will not identify that particular element. So this time it should get failed. Let us run this particular test one. If we look at here, so it is printing no such element, unable to locate this particular element, and it is printing all the information related to the this particular element. So how you can take the screenshot of those failures is, so I have set of code here. So this is set of code here. Just I'll copy this 3 lines of code, then I will explain you what each of the lines are doing it. So before explaining these 3 lines, I will create one folder called screenshots. That's it. Let me explain you what exactly these 3 lines does here. So it will, whenever the error occurred in the try block, just now what we have seen, it is not able to identify this particular email text box. So this time it will come to the catch block and it will capture the screenshot by using these 3 lines. And finally it will close the web browser if it is open. So let me explain you these 3 lines of code which is going to capture our screenshot. So first we have converted this driver into the I take screenshot interface. By using this particular object as a TS, then we are getting the screenshot, and that returns us the type of value is screenshot type. If you look at here, get a screenshot will return the type of value is screenshot type. So that's why we have mentioned here as a screenshot type. By using this particular screenshot object, I'm calling to one method called save as file. So here in this save as file, you are specifying the where exactly you want to store this particular. This you can mention the screenshot name, and after that you can specify the which format of the image you want. This is, as of now I am mentioning it as a JPEG. Here you can see many format of the images will be available. You want to store that into the format of GIF, JPEG, PNG, .tif. So in my case what I'm doing is I'm storing in the format of JPEG. So here you need to specify the path of the file where exactly you want to store the screenshot whenever any error occurred in this particular try block. So just now we have created one folder called screenshot. I will go to the particular folder. Just open folder in file explorer. I'll copy this particular path and I'll paste it here. So I'll give the screenshot name as screenshot1. So this you can give any name, not an issue. So you can specify the 2 backward slash, or one you can specify the 1 forward slash. That's it. So in the try block we have a code called launching the web browser, and it is entering the some URL, and after that it is entering some values into the email text box that is here. Then it is simply closing the web browser. So if any error occurred in the try block, it is going to the catch block, and it will simply capture the screenshot. Then it will store into this particular path what we have given the path as a screenshot in our project. Then finally block will be getting executed. In case of try block, if in middle of this particular lines of code any error occurred, that time browser will be not closed. That's the reason we are closing that in the final block. If still browser is not open, if it is open, it is going to close all the instance of the web browser. That's it. Let us run this particular test one. It is launching the web browser. Then simply it is failing the particular test because we have specified wrong value over here. Let us go to this particular screenshot folder. Let us check whether it is captured the screenshot or not, because our test is getting failed. Right click on that particular screenshots folder and select open folder in Explorer. So if we look at here, screenshot of this particular name is screenshot1. So if you open here, so it has captured and entered the screenshot of that particular web page. So this particular catch block will be executed only any error occurred in this particular try block. Let us say I will uncomment this particular line. So this time it should execute properly because we have identified that particular web element properly and we have specified the XPath which is correct. Yes, there are no errors because we are able to identify that particular email text box and we are able to enter this value into the email text box. That's all guys. I think I have covered almost all the topics which is listed in the today's Selenium C# NUnit tutorials. We have covered author attribute, description attribute, test case source attribute, how you can achieve data-driven testing in Selenium C#, and we have covered how to create and run a Selenium C# NUnit automation script, and we have discussed the exception handling. Then finally we have discussed how to capture a screenshot in Selenium C#. We have covered all the NUnit attributes which is listed over here: test fixature attribute, one time setup attribute, one time teardown attribute, test attribute, setup attribute, teardown attribute, category attribute, author attribute, ignore attribute, test case source attribute, order attribute, description attribute, parallelizable attribute. We have covered all the NUnit attributes in the previous Selenium C# tutorials and in the today's Selenium C# automation tutorials. If you have any queries, you can comment in the comment section of this video below. If you have any queries, you can drop me also email to my Gmail ID. Please stay tuned for the next Selenium C# .NET NUnit tutorial on extent reports and many other things. If you want to get more updates from this particular channel, please click on subscribe button. And if you like this video, click on like button and share button. Thank you so much for watching this video tutorial.